The Dance of the Invisible Wind, a parable about dance. In a remote valley shaped like an open palm, surrounded by hills that curved like the backs of resting animals, there lived a solitary woman known simply as the Keeper of Circles. No one remembered when she arrived in the valley. Some said she was born there. Others believed she had wandered down from the high peaks and forgotten her reason for coming. But none doubted that she belonged to the land as surely as the wind belonged to the sky. She lived in a round dwelling built from clay and earth, with a roof of layered reeds and walls, thick enough to hold silence. Each morning, before the sun lit the tops of the surrounding trees, she stepped barefoot into a field just beyond her home. The earth there was soft and cool, always clear of stones, though no one had ever seen her remove them. And there she danced. Her feet moved with the rhythm of something no ear could hear. Her arms lifted and fell like birds in flight. Her body turned as though guided by currents invisible to the eye. No music played. No drum beat marked her steps. Yet all who watched knew that something ancient was being honored with each movement. She danced with the patience of the moon and the wildness of firelight. Her gestures were neither choreographed nor random. They arose from the earth and returned to it, as natural as the unfolding of petals or the fall of rain. Seasons passed, and the villagers came to revere her dance not as a performance, but as a form of prayer. They did not disturb her. They left gifts at the edge of the field, herbs, woven grass, small jars of honey. In return she gave nothing but the dance, and that was enough. For in her movement they felt something loosen inside themselves. The farmers said their fields grew more freely when she danced. The children said the wind smelled sweeter. The elders said their sleep was deeper. None could explain it. They simply felt it. But the Keeper of Circles never danced for them. Her body was not a message, nor a symbol. It was a vessel for something older than memory. She danced for what could not be seen, for the rhythm that underlies all things, birth and decay, joy and sorrow, stillness and motion. Each day her dance was different. Some mornings, she moved like slow water winding through stone. Other times, she spun with sudden bursts, feet leaving the ground in leaps of silent thunder. There were days when her body swayed so subtly that birds landed near her feet, mistaking her for part of the wind itself. One day, the rains came. They did not fall gently. They roared down the valley with the voice of a river unbound. Trees bent. Soil turned to flowing mud. Crops lay flat beneath the weight of the water. The villagers huddled inside, counting the hours, wondering if the fields would recover. But at dawn, when the sky broke open with silver light, they saw her dancing still. Mud caked her legs. Her garment clung to her frame, yet her arms moved as though they belonged to the clouds, lifting grief and scattering it across the hills. Her dance held the sorrow of the storm and the promise of its passing. She did not fight the rain. She became its echo. After the rains, the fields recovered more quickly than anyone expected. Flowers bloomed in strange, sudden places. Old trees bore fruit out of season. The villagers no longer doubted that her movement shaped more than the eye could see. Years turned like pages. Children who once watched her from behind the trees grew and bore children of their own. The Keeper of Circles did not change. Her hair remained the color of early frost. Her body, though weathered, never slowed. She moved with the same devotion, the same surrender, the same invisible rhythm. One season, the wind came and did not leave. It howled across the valley for weeks. It shook the roofs and scattered seeds far from their beds. Birds flew in frantic spirals. Fires burned sideways. And still she danced. This time, her movement was fierce. Her limbs carved through the air like blades through mist. She turned and turned until her shape blurred, until even her shadow danced apart from her. She welcomed the wind, became its partner, its mirror, its anchor. The storm lost its edge in her presence. And when the wind quieted, the villagers found themselves changed. Their hearts beat slower. Their tempers cooled. Quarrels resolved without effort. A peace settled over the valley like evening light. They began to understand. Her dance was not performance. It was transformation. Not of herself, but of everything around her. Then, one spring, she did not appear at dawn. The field remained empty. A hush fell over the valley. Birds sang more softly. The trees stood without rustling. The villagers waited. Days passed. They came to the edge of the field and left their offerings. But no feet pressed into the earth. No arms rose to greet the sky. Some said she had passed into the hills, that her dance had become the wind itself. Others believed she had merged with the land, and now lived beneath the soil. A few claimed to hear her footsteps at night, faint as falling petals. The truth was simpler. The dance had moved on, but the field remained. And the villagers over time began to enter it, not to replace her, but to feel what she had felt. At first they stood still, uncertain. Then slowly, one or two would begin to sway. A hand would rise. A foot would step forward. The body would begin to remember something older than its name. They did not know the rhythm, but the rhythm knew them. It entered through their breath and moved their limbs with quiet insistence. No one danced to be seen. No one danced to perform. They danced to become part of what had once flowed through her. And in that way, her dance never ended. It lived now in the feet of those who had once watched, in the arms of children unafraid to move, in the breath of elders who remembered what it meant to let the earth lead. The field changed, but it remained sacred. The wind returned again and again, and each time, the valley remembered her, not through statues or stories, but through the turning of a body in silence, a movement that asks nothing and gives everything, a dance that never needed music, only presence, reflection. This parable invites us to see dance as the pure expression of alignment with the present moment, a wordless communion with change, emotion, and the invisible forces that shape life. True dance asks for no witness, no applause. It is not performance. It is participation in the great unfolding. In each of us, the dance waits to be remembered. Through breath, through rhythm, through surrender, we become the movement, and the movement becomes us. Not to impress, but to connect. Not to control, but to let go. The wind never stops. Neither does the dance.